Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. This is a 3 times weekly show looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club, available on video and podcast. My name is Benjamin Bloom. I'll be here each and every Monday for this, the flagship show, with ITFC aficionado David Diamond in a bad mood. Look at him, look at his face, he's in a bad mood. And Joe Fairs for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour of football conversation. So make your Monday a Blue Monday. Dave, are you okay?
Yeah, all right, yeah. You?
Yeah,
good. Yeah, how's you? Good to have someone different on. Joe, how are you, mate? Are you well?
Yeah, good. Now the technical difficulties are sorted.
So I made a funny little joke in the WhatsApp that we'd start at 7:33, which was a tiny little minuscule dig at Dave. What time is it, Dave?
About 8:10.
It's 8:01, Dave. Don't exaggerate.
8:01.
For effect.
Sorry, 20:01. Sorry, I read
8:01.
the one wrong way round.
Was it my fault, Dave?
No, it wasn't.
No. Was it Joe Fair's fault?
Technical. No, of course it wasn't. Technical issues outside of our control.
No, but the issue is I think you're taking it out on me.
Well, I'm not going to take it out on Joe. He's far too nice a bloke.
How are you, Joe?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Are you happy now? Your Microsoft issues are sorted out.
Oh, bloody Microsoft Store. It's
bloody Sky.
My life the last week.
Bloody Microsoft. We're about as disunited as the Ipswich Town team, aren't we? There we go. I had an intro and everything sorted. How are you doing? That's what I was going to say. Dave, Q&A last time. Great feedback. Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I did. It was good, wasn't it? It went on a bit. Some of the questions were rather repetitive, but we got there in the end, didn't we?
He's salty as anything, isn't he? He's had a go at you, he's had a go at me, he's having a go at the listeners now. So the only people left are the people that don't, so just the other 8 billion people on the planet now.
Harry has his peppery guys on a Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, Harry does.
No, we've got a salty guy.
So
yeah, I've got my pad ready with my positions with little sort of like blanks across every position for when we do Two Little Ducks.
Have you?
I'm taking over the Harry Wainwright mode. Serious.
Unbelievable scenes. Joe, Arsenal have become the latest club to be linked with Dylan Crowe, according TWTD. Who is Dylan Crowe, and when are we selling him?
He's a young academy right back. He's been in the England squad sort of 16s, 17s, 18s. I think he's 18s now. He went to the Euro Championships in the summer with the 17s, and normally when these players come through the academy, they have a professional deal waiting for them on their 17th birthday, which they sign. He was 17 in April, and nothing has been signed yet, which indicates he isn't signing a deal at the moment. So whether that's because of interest elsewhere, I'd guess it is, because it seems anyone that gets in these England squads now, they are just everyone wants them. So it wouldn't surprise me if clubs are after him.
Similar fee to Ben Knight's then?
I'd imagine it'll be around the same, not as high, but he's been here just as long, and generally that's the sort of thing that comes down to length of service almost for these young boys.
Indeed. Dave, Luke Chambers says in yesterday's programme, and I quote, "In my opinion, financial fair play is a load of old rubbish. Owners should be allowed to spend what they want on their clubs, and it's hardly worked as a deterrent, has it?" Dave, is he right? And is he talking directly to Marcus Evans here?
He's spot on, I'd say. Yeah, he's definitely spot on. Whether he's talking directly to our owner or not, I wouldn't like to say. But yeah, he's spot on with his sentiments there, I would say. Yeah, why not?
Joe?
It's a waste of time, isn't it? It's just a complete and utter waste of time, because the penalty doesn't fit the crime, if there is a perceived crime, does it? Doesn't. They're talking now about who's it now? Birmingham, isn't it? Talking about I've read anything from 12 points to fucking 21 point deduction. It's not going to happen, is it? We know it's not going to happen.
Well, Birmingham were put under a transfer embargo, told they can't sign anyone, and then sign someone for £2 million the next day. Surely the Football League should just block that move.
Balls, isn't it? It's rubbish. He's spot on. He's right. Yeah.
Pedestal.
I'd say perhaps a dig at our owner, maybe a veiled one, but I don't really think so.
Joe, Ipswich are top of the league for the most streamed match in EFL history after over 3,000 people streamed the local derby against Norwich. Does this show a healthy following, or is it just the fact that this is the highest profile game that wasn't actually televised and just available for stream?
Yeah, highest profile game. I'm sure there's games that have had more streams than there. I'd imagine every Leeds game gets more streams than that, but done through people using VPNs to watch these games, pretending they're abroad. Effectively, but this is the only one in England that's effectively been available.
Visible panty line.
Is that what it means?
I don't know what a VPN is. What's a VPN?
I don't know what VPN is.
I don't know what it means, but it's something that you basically put on your browser and say you're in Germany, and then you can watch stuff that isn't available in the UK.
You've heard from one of your friends who told you.
Allegedly.
Yeah, someone told me down the pub.
Yeah. But Dave, do you know what's not going to be the most streamed event in EFL history because you have to buy a ticket? That'd be Blue Monday Live on February the 16th. You're going to be there, Dave, after the Stoke City game. All kinds of nonsense after the West Brom game got moved. So we're after the Stoke game now, February the 16th, Curve Bar. I've plugged it to death on here. I can see Dave's a bit salty, so I won't do a really long plug because he's...
I'm not, Ben. Now I'll get onto the swing of the pod. I'm fine again.
Well, you're going to get angry when we get onto QPR, so I'm just holding
on a rage.
Huddersfield
2 or 3 seasons ago has got nothing on the rage. Of pent up rage I've got.
That'll just be amusing. Eventbrite.co.uk, February the 16th, Blue Monday Live. David Diamond will be here unless he spontaneously combusts tonight. Joe Fairs will be there. I'll be there. Mikey will be there. Harry from Bath will be there. Rich will be there. Stuart and Andy are confirmed now. They had to.
Hang on, Stat's going to be there. You haven't
let Stat out. Oh God, no! He'll get grumpy.
You've done it again.
Oh
no!
Oh no!
That was deliberate, wasn't it? It was deliberate.
It totally wasn't. I'm completely public enemy number one here tonight. But someone.
Stat, I was thinking of you, mate. If no one else does.
Well, you clearly were.
I've got your corner, son.
How can I link from public enemy number one to Ipswich versus QPR, and maybe Paul Hurst might be becoming public enemy number one? Dave, we were happy after the Swansea game, weren't we?
Yeah, I think generally we were. Yeah, generally we were happy, weren't we? Even if it was a smash and grab, but it was 3 points and a win, wasn't it? What didn't make me happy was that we've only won 2 home games in 2018. That doesn't make me happy at all. And it's in the record, not 5. That makes me really angry.
What, in a calendar year?
Yeah. I think the record's 5.
94, 95?
Yeah, and 1964 when conceded 183 goals.
Was that under Jackie Milburn?
121 goals, sorry to be precise. Yes, it was, yeah. So I think the games we have won at home, sorry, we should be doing this after, but I think, is it Leeds? Was Selena's goal?
Selena, January. Barnsley, Barry Cotter slammed the teacup down. I don't have to hear it again because I'm out of here. Let me give you these teams then. So I was kind of expecting the lineup that ended the Swansea game rather than the one that began it.
Yeah.
But we got the one that began it. Gherkin in goal. Danassian at left back. Chambers and Ciala centre backs. Pennington at right back. Skews and Chalobah in front of them, with then Edwards, Dizelle and Ward. And Freddie Sears up front. QPR, Lumley, Rangel, Leisner, Lynch, Bidwell across the back. Bidwell, Dave, you must have had a good view of him. He's a nasty bloke, isn't he?
Good left foot.
Yeah,
not as good as Freeman.
He's proper Joe Garner attitude to the game.
Yeah, I don't mind him. He's fine.
Yeah, okay. Voslek, Luongo, Cameron, Freeman, Eze sat behind Toma Hemed, one of your favourites from Brighton, Dave. Scrappy start, Joe. Rangers force a corner on 6, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this is interesting. I've not seen this before. So they're going to put all their big guys like 1 yard from the goal and just float it in. Warnock must have done that at some point.
Well, it's just they've obviously worked on something over the international break. It's nice to see a manager do that.
What, floating corners in?
I think it helps when you've got someone that can take a corner that can drop it on how we used to say, drop it on a sixpence.
Yeah, it's still just floaty though, weren't they?
Just left foot like a sand wedge, isn't he?
We're talking about Luke Freeman, who always
indeed.
The new David Nugent, but probably the combined distance of David Nugent's goals against Ipswich is. Oh no, there were some good ones, weren't there? So look, they get a corner and we see this, and I assume Hurst has got this scouted if they've done it before. Joe may be right that this might just be a new thing. Oh, they're gonna try it in this game. So we get two from the right hand side. Luongo puts one over, and then Hemed steps back out of the crowd and heads one over, and then I'm calling Chambers out on this because there's a long ball down in front of you, Dave,
Poorly positioned,
bouncy ball with. So he's in a foot race with Voslek, and he jumps up to head it back, and it's kind of like he wants to be super athletic, jumps a bit too early, heads it back. Yeah, mistimes the header completely.
He gets underneath the ball, doesn't he?
So the header doesn't get back to Gherkin. Voslek probably could have brought that down, but he has a shot. And now Freeman's got...
Gherkin stands up, does okay. Yeah.
Fair dues. So now, Dave, they've got a corner from the right-hand side that Freeman can take. And you two can do this amongst you because I was on halfway. You were behind...
I counted this morning. I had to do a free because I'd never seen anything a tactic quite like that.
Have you never?
Well, I suppose I have, but it just wasn't quite so noticeable. I don't know really.
Arsenal used to put like three of them on the near post, and the idea was they were going to flick it to the. I've never seen like just everyone on the goal line though.
How many players do you think, not counting Gherkin, were about 2 yards off our goal line when that corner dropped in? How many when that corner was taken? 12. 12. It was 12 players inside the 6-yard box, not counting our keeper. And as soon as Freeman took it, I was with Kieran, my youngest, yesterday, sat next to him, and he said...
Dave, just tell the listeners where you sit, because you had a perfect view of this. And Joe's right behind Gherkin as well.
I still sit... My boys are like 20 and... Oh, no, I shouldn't say that, because he's too old. But yeah, I still sit in the family enclosure, down level with the...
You don't pay family concession price, do you?
Sir Alf, edge of the penalty area, yeah. So Freeman... So as soon as my lad says... He could drop this in, he could score, and I was saying, that'd be ridiculous. And he actually called it. He said, well, look how many players are on top of Gherkin here, you know. And you think, okay, but then if he comes and gets bulked, probably ref will give a free kick anyway. And it's just a great call. I say great call. It is. He just drops it right under the bar. And Gherkin, he's just... Well, Joe was saying about Chambers gets caught under the ball. He gets caught under the ball a la Bar on a couple of occasions this season. And it goes in. I think actually he sort of flaps at it, weak paw at it. I think it goes in, brushes off Pennington, I think. But he's not bulked at all. There's no foul there. He just doesn't cope with it. It's a great
considering Dave saying there's 12 players within 2 yards of the goal, no one really goes near Gherkin. He just doesn't move his feet. His run isn't impeded. He just gets underneath the ball and then he just sort of falls back.
He hasn't got a chance to run. There's no room for him to run. So to be in deference to Gherkin, he has got to take the ball almost from a standing jump. But look, it's poor. It's poor. No matter what way you cut that up, it's poor.
What was the plan? Was it just to lump it on Lynch's head or something?
Well, just get it under the bar, and just put it. Obviously, they know, they've seen him play. They know. Well, I have to say, both our keepers so far this season haven't been that clever on balls dropping right on top of them, have they? In that situation, and they called it right. A great corner. They've got someone that could drop a corner in like that. It's fantastic. He's classy. But it's poor, very, very poor, and set the tone, didn't it? Let's face it, just set the tone. To be fair, the tone had been set in the first. I don't know, when was that goal scored? 13, 14?
12, yeah.
The tone had been set already. We were off it. I mean, go on. I won't even get onto the lineup yet. We'll do that afterwards.
Just quickly, Joe. I don't see why that's an own goal, because if that was a shot from...
That's not an own goal.
As it's been on Who Scored It's an own goal for Gherkin, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He does pour it in a little bit, doesn't he? And
it's a tough
still going in the goal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but whether there's someone else behind, I don't know. I suppose they don't like to give a direct corner to someone, do they? Maybe almost treat it like an indirect free kick.
If you watch it, when I was counting the players in the 6-yard box this morning, if you look at it again, he sort of pulls and it looks like he goes in final touch off Pennington a bit, but it's hard to see really. It's a bad goal.
You're right about setting the tone, Dave. At Hull, Downs 3 minutes, robbed, goal. At Swansea, 11 minutes, own goal. And the
manager's come out the manager's come out and said that, hasn't he? The manager's come out and said and he's probably got a point there where, I don't know how many goals we conceded, 20, whatever we conceded, and have any of them been good goals? Really think, oh yeah, hats off to that. Or maybe there was one we spoke, I can't remember, but oh yeah, Christ Almighty, yeah, great goal. But do you know what? There's been some poor goals conceded. Oh, you've seen most of them, and
I'm just thinking back to him. Bart against Blackburn.
Sheffield Wednesday,
Sheffield Wednesday, Chalobah, and then Bart. Bart threw his hands against Derby for the
Birmingham James straight from the second half. Early in the second half, mistake by
Oh God, too many. So Rangers. I think this is what bugged me. The two things that really bugged me were, one, how easy we were to open the scoring against, and two, this tactic was not hard at all. So Cameron sits still in front of the back four. Luongo pushes forward, and they're going to press Skews and Chalobah and get in. And to be fair, when Rich and Harry on the preview show said, not sure about Freeman and joining in the press, and okay, he drifted into the middle a lot, but I thought Freeman pressed better than Voschelek did on the other side. But they realised we couldn't play out from the back. There was no balls out to the fullbacks, and they just pressed the two centre midfielders.
The times it was painful, honestly.
But Dave, you had
Bart. Gerg into Chambers.
You had seven of our players all back, all being pressed, and seemingly attempting to kind of, we've been told we need to play out, and they just couldn't do it.
Well, that's the thing, and if not, then you have to resort to Plan B. But the Plan B yesterday was then reverting to launching it forward to Freddie Sears, who was up against Land of the Giants again.
But then, Dave, and you're launching it, and you've got your back four flat and two midfielders there, so you're launching it to nobody. It's not.
But we did. You can't say we did. We did.
But they don't mix it up at all. Like, they try and play out, realise they can't.
Not good enough, Joe.
There's no one that will try and pass the ball through the lines and say, we're being pressed. Let's just try and take out a couple of lines with one pass.
They did that once, Dave.
They don't even see it. Sorry.
Joe, they did it once.
Chalobah does it.
Chalobah did it with a surge, but the two passes round the corner and Lynch took Sears out in the second half. That was the only time when...
And he booked for it, and he actually did something.
But... Yeah, there you go.
I thought they were stronger. They were just stronger than us. Dazelle midfield to me yesterday was just lost. They were so much stronger.
34. Chambers nearly pulls Hemed. I think if that had been a bit further on, you might have had a penalty 10 minutes earlier. Nice surge from Chalobah into the box. Low crossing for Ward, and I don't want to reference John Walk because. Dave, you'll get cross about the standard how our players used to be and how they are now. But Ward just is running too fast when he takes this shot.
And he gets his feet He doesn't relax. And this is it. He snatches at it. He's not relaxed, is he? This is a key. Relax. When you receive a ball like that, you relax and you strike it. But he was just too tense.
Freeman puts in another corner. They go back post, and we get into. Joe, we get into 45 minutes goes up, and it's 1 minute, which is 1 minute on the fourth officials board, which is manageable. And they force a corner, and it seems for all the world Freeman's put the corner in, and it's going to hit the side netting, and Chalobah heads it out, and then somehow they manage to concede another corner. And I promise you, I was like, this is the most Ipswich thing in the world. They're gonna score from this. And I looked over, 45 minutes 46 seconds. It said over on the board. And Joe, what the hell happens when this corner goes in? Because do you know what before you start? Sorry, they decided to do big guys at the back and run in, and then someone obviously called it. I don't know who Bidwell was the captain. Obviously called it when. Guys, pile on the goal line again. This has already worked.
It wasn't great. It was probably the worst corner he took, actually.
So Joe, you pick up from there. What happens?
Well, the ball just sort of goes through everyone, doesn't it? It doesn't really come off anyone. I think it's one of the defenders. Penny gets a sort of
Penny challenges near post and just gets a bit of the ball.
And then it falls to Easy, and he just takes a touch, and Nsiala flies in. I think he might get a tiny bit on the ball, but as we've said before with Nsiala, you lunge in and you give the ref a decision to make. The ref seemed to take an age to give it.
I think he was waiting to see if there was
He's waiting the line. And it's not a great touch. So the ball deflects off Pennington and actually hits easy. He gets a bit lucky. It sort of hits him on the knee and runs away from him. But for me, that goal, the ball's running away from when he sort of tries to control it, hits him on the knee. The ball's running. He's not running towards goal. He's running away from goal. It's such a rash challenge. 5
seconds before injury time's going to end as well. Just to put into context that challenge.
I'd say that goal sums up our season, though. We failed to deal with a set piece, which we hadn't done all season.
And Joe, we shouldn't have conceded the damn thing in the first place.
Yeah, but that's confidence in itself.
You've got it.
The ball comes in. Chalobah, is no one talking to Chalobah? Yeah, leave it. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's out. Is no one talking to him? But he shouldn't need to. I have to, head it, deal with that ball, because you're quite right. You said at half time, you said, that corner, that was going in the side netting, wasn't it? I said, it wasn't swinging in at all. But
sorry, Joe, finish your point. I started yelling over you.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, well, like I say, we couldn't deal with a set piece, which we haven't done all season, and NCR dives in, and like I say, he dived in against Rotherham, gave away a free kick they scored from, dived in against Derby, gave away a free kick they scored from, dived in against Sheffield Wednesday, got sent off, which made us lose the game. I'm not saying should have been a red card, because I don't think it should.
Sounds like Tom Daly.
Dived in yesterday, conceded a penalty, lose the game. It's like, he's got to stop diving in, and we've got to learn to defend set pieces.
I think we got a fair few questions on Toto.
Yeah, he certainly didn't hold the line yesterday, Ben, did he?
that's very good. Did you? Love isn't always on time.
Sorry, no, look it off down.
Oh dear. There's something really sad on YouTube. Bobby Kimball, the singer from Toto. There's footage of him playing a festival like a year ago. Oh dear. Don't watch that. He was a great singer as well.
He's lost his voice.
How does this happen?
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and there's also some footage of Toto in Japan, which is an even better advert for "Don't do drugs, kids," because these are the world's best musicians, and my God, I've heard better 500 quid function bands than them. Right, explain to me this, right, Dave? It's half time. You've just had a complete horror show, but you've now got 15 minutes to reset yourself. Right, how is Eze, or however you say his name, clean through on goal 30 seconds into the second half?
I just don't know how that happened. Well, Chambers sort of goes to the ball then. Again, a bit different to Chambers. His foot could be deemed a little bit high, but he just gets there before Chambers. He should score. And getting good from Girk, and he stands up quite well, but, he could have had a hat-trick.
Who said set the tone earlier? Someone said about it setting the... Again, throw in, you've got possession, just... Oh, my goodness me.
Sloppy.
A loopy throw in as well. Like Chambers was caught in 2 minds whether to get there. You're throwing it 25 yards across to him. Get a right back at right back, and that sort of thing doesn't happen.
Well, mate, let's get onto that in a minute, because
oh no,
Christ, there was so much wrong with it yesterday, wasn't it? So much.
Dear. I don't really want to read this next load, because half of these are us giving the ball away and doing stupid stuff and giving them chances.
So questions. It's so bad.
Let's just
seriously. There's nothing to say. What?
Let's give Pennington some props for
Jack Lancaster,
the lad that comes on as sub. Great, But
okay.
Again, Stat was a bit cynical about that on WhatsApp. Then he said, "Was it just to appease the fans?" I mean, no. I thought he looked quite lively. He looks a player, Joe. You've obviously seen him. You've said before, I think.
Yeah, he looked really like he didn't seem to do that much in his first year as a scholar. Scored a lot of goals last year, and then came back in pre-season. Has been absolutely flying.
Yeah,
he can play up top as a 9. Can play in behind as a 10, can play out wide like he did yesterday. And like I say, when he came on, him and Dazelle started moving the ball between them. He showed a bit of desire, put a couple of tackles in, and it's like, why are we relying on a kid born in the year 2000 to come on and sort this out?
You love it, but then you're not going to pitch him in on Wednesday or at Leeds, are you?
No.
It's brutal.
Let's just tidy this up, though. So the run from Pennington on 58. It was,
excellent.
It was a little bit kamikaze, but it was effective for what it was. The substitution you talked about, and I don't want to bury Hurst completely, but at this point, he's now got a forward playing left wing, a 19-year-old playing right wing, right back playing left back, and a centre back playing right back. The player of the year is on the bench, and a World Cup.
There's a guy near me. I thought his head was going to blow off. Actually, so right, seriously, who said Jackson? And when Jackson came, he said, "Oh, great, yeah, Jackson's on at last, 2 up, hooray!" And it only took him 5 minutes, and I pointed out. I said, I think it is. Look, I think he's playing left. And he just lost the plot at that point. Absolutely raging he was.
But your unused subs, you've got Bart, who's a player of the year who should be playing. You've got a left back, while you're playing a left back at right back. You've got Jordan Graham, who's a left winger, while you've got a forward playing on the left wing. It's all over the place.
Oh dear, I remember.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, I remember. I'd been away for a while, and I went to see one of McCarthy's first games against Burnley, and the team. We won 2-1. DJ Campbell scored right at the right.
Oh yeah,
at the end.
I do.
And I just remember asking the guy I went with.
It's always like this.
What is this?
happened?
There's 2 lone players in. We don't own half the team, and that was like one of Chambers' first games at right back, and there was a little bit. So look, I know we've glossed over it a little bit, but Dave, it was terrible, wasn't it? Really,
Ben,
really poor.
I don't know if Joe agreed with this, Joe, but I thought it was as bad as anything we've seen under McCarthy. I've got to say that.
But it was bad for different
Seriously.
reasons, Dave.
Well, bad for different reasons because it's bloody square pegs in round holes. Why is Knudsen not? I'm not the biggest Knudsen fan. I don't think we all are. Perhaps he's a bit Marmite, isn't he, Knudsen? Why is he not playing left back? What the hell is he not playing? Why? And then Donasian, I thought, had an excellent game against, was it Middlesbrough? Right, we're 2-0 down, and we said Borough, he sat back a bit. But his delivery, when he did get in those positions, was bloody brilliant, excellent. And it seems to me that, yes, I agree with him wanting to get Pennington in the team, but it's all to accommodate, and I think you might have said this, Joe, or Mikey might have said in a WhatsApp group, it's all to accommodate Enciala, who's clearly not up to it.
Yes, and Enciala hasn't been impressive this season, and to play him at centre-back, you're having to play Chambers on the wrong side, you're putting Pennington in at right-back, which means Donatian's playing left-back, so the whole defence is unbalanced to fit Enciala in.
Surely against Leeds, it will be, well, I don't know, but who could tell, it took me long enough. Surely it'll be Pennington, Chambers, Pennington, Donasian and Knudsen, hopefully.
Dave, also, isn't this the route of Gherkin bowling the ball out, and you've got a left back that wants to receive the ball on his right foot, so you can't play outwards. You've got Joe, as you say, Chambers on his wrong side, and then you've got Pennington, whose instinct is to come inwards, and he's not. He's not. So doesn't the poor passing? I know Brentford is Brentford, but they split out, and you're not telling me Mepham and Konza are Beckenbauer and Matthias, are you?
They're not naturally comfortable. Any left back, so take Donasian, and I quite like Donasian, but it's not his natural. The natural thing is to get the ball. The ball, you see Knudsen do. He plays in front of me, so Gherkin bowls the ball to Knudsen. All right, 50% of the time the ball might well be shanked out of play, but it's on his left foot, and he can play the ball at the line. He doesn't have to come inside. He doesn't have to shift it. He can play the ball in the channel for Sears, in the channel for Jackson.
You've got both options, haven't you?
I just can't see. I just couldn't see what the plan was yesterday. It was just smack to me of desperation yesterday. Very, very, very poor. Yeah,
well, you're just shutting off half the pitch, aren't you? Because if you're a left back, you let the ball roll across you if you want to play it up the line, or you take the touch inside if you want to play inside. But when Donatian's there, he has to take the touch inside, so that line ball is an option. Pennington, Chambers, was never comfortable.
No. And clearly QPR had done their homework, said, you can let their centre-backs have it. Just let them have it. Just press a bit, let them have it. And they did. And the times Chambers got the ball, looked up, wanted to play in the midfield. The press was there. Had to turn back. And when there was interplay, when he tried, there was interplay between him and Enciala. It was just like, no, don't, Yeah, mate, all was not good yesterday.
Shall we go straight to questions then? Now, just to reiterate, we've done this now. Dave and I actually did the questions special. So we now know if we answer all the questions, it takes us 1.5 hours. So
we're not going
to do that.
Got an extra person though, Joe. Go on.
So nice and concise, guys. This is Troy. Troy's actually very funny on Twitter and sometimes sings into his camera. So I'd suggest everybody follows him. Joe, do you want to take this? Can you tell me what is going to happen? Need proper players, i.e. Bart in the team and not Pennington right back. Is Bart going to come back into the team?
I hope so. I don't ever think he should have been dropped. I know he made a couple of mistakes, but at the end of the day, he's the player of the year for 3 years in a row. Goalkeepers' errors are made worse by what happens after them. You can spill the ball out and they sky it over the bar and it gets forgotten about. Gherkin got lucky. Bart is a better keeper than Gherkin. We can all see that. If Hurst can't see that, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Dave, this is Paul Westlake. Assuming Paul Hurst goes, who comes in next?
Well, honestly, now when I saw this banded about earlier, now you almost need another form of man. I'm not saying him, but someone like a Bruce, someone to come in and and fight the fire. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, we do.
There's part of me that thinks that if you don't get somebody like that, then you're just going to end up hiring someone like Hurst. So you may as well keep Hurst.
Yeah.
If you don't get someone who's going to do the, do you know what I mean? Do the, right, let's get square pegs in square, do you have square holes? Sorry, round pegs in round holes, and be tight. And I mean, even on that Amazon thing with Man City, you've got Fabian Delph in the dressing room, win your battles, stick with your man, shouting out the real simple stuff to like David Silva, but do all of that and try and not concede any goals.
I don't know if Joe agrees, but I think if he does go, we've got obviously we want to stay in the division the way it is. Okay, still relatively early days. I think we would need to hire someone like a Bruce. Do you think?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I think the only alternative is maybe someone like Warburton, but you're going to need somebody who's got championship experience, like he has. Like we'll still concede crap goals with Warburton in charge, but at least we might actually create some chances and score some at the other end.
But then that's a complete mind change, isn't it? That's like just a complete different ball game. You get Warburton in. How long is that going to take? Because this is a complete different way of playing altogether. And I'm not convinced we've got the players to do that.
Well, I don't think Forest did. I don't think sort of Brentford did it. They just learned to play that way and just kept going until it worked. But I imagine it'll be a Steve Bruce, Simon Grayson, someone like that.
I'd like Warburton, I must admit, but I think he perhaps should have. Well, anyway, there you go.
Joe, has Evans learned anything from? Sorry, this is Stephen Moore. Has Evans learned anything from his previous indecisiveness in sacking failing managers?
Hopefully. I think the only difference is this time is when he took a while to sack Jordan and when he took a while to sack Keane, both of them had some credit in the bank from previous exploits. Well, Keane had a lot of money spent and needed a chance to let that work, and he was Evans' big appointment. Jewell had turned the ship round from Keane before it went wrong. Hurst has done nothing. He's come in and he's done nothing. So he's got no credit there, and we're staring League One in the face.
I think, do you know what? I honestly think that Hurst has just completely misread the jump from League One to Championship. You know, the difference in quality, the difference in quality, you know. So he's signed these players. He signed Jackson, NCR, and Nolan, all these players from League One or below. And I just think he's completely misread the gulf, and there is a gulf between the two divisions. I mean, all right, you can say the teams that got promoted, Blackburn, Wigan, they're all doing quite well. But look at the teams that went down, Barnsley and Sunderland. Christ, they can win a game, could they? Between them last season, Sunderland couldn't, but now they're both comfortably, without great change, I don't think, in personnel, they're both comfortably in the playoffs now. I think it's a big jump in class.
He said a few times he doesn't think the jump is as big as people make out. Even yesterday he's saying, people talk about that, but I don't think that's the issue. It's just players making mistakes. And it's like, come on, they're staring you in the face here.
Yeah, well, they make mistakes because they're just not good enough. There you go.
Okay, Dave, this is Dylan. Was it too early for... he's put Lancaster. This is going to become a pet hate of mine. Lancaster to start. And why does Hurst stand on the touchline with his arms crossed?
Yeah, he's not very... he's not very vocal, is he? Was it too early? I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it did take some. Maybe he thought, throwing him on would give the crowd a lift, which I think it did for a bit, and he did one or two good things, and there's obviously promise there, as we said earlier. It's certainly too early. He's never going to start. You wouldn't pitch him in away at Leeds or away at Millwall, would you? For goodness' sake. But yeah, as an impact player from the bench, yeah, great. It's a player there, isn't it?
Joe, this is Seb, who I think we're seeing at Leeds on Wednesday. Are we worse than 2012?
Yes, because we haven't got good players. Back then we were disorganised but had the players. Now we're disorganised and we don't have the players.
I was saying this in my championship review, Dave. Hull have got Irvine, Martin, Elphick and Bowen. And you kind of think they're all pretty good players. And you think...
I mean, think of the players we had back then into what Cresswell was playing left back, wasn't he?
Hold
then
that thought, because we have an excellent game on this show called Two Little Ducks. So just hold
Cresswell.
that. Right, you can stick that in your pocket, Dave, and have that for later. This is our friend Andy Grimes. Apart from the manager, who can we change to improve results?
Is this to me?
I think it was to Dave, but he's pleading the fifth on this one.
Apart from the manager, who can we change to improve results? I tend to agree with Joe. I think the goalkeeper. Yeah, I think Bart perhaps. Yeah, I think he may well be against Leeds. This might be. Okay, Gergen's only had 5 or 6 games, but maybe the goalkeeper. I think certainly Enciala, if he's rested Nolan, and it took long enough for the penny to drop with Nolan, I think Enciala, these other Shrewsbury signings, probably got to be rested, so that's going to make a difference. Certainly Knudson's got to come back at left back. Hang on, what else? Sears up front, yeah, for a start, there's 3 or 4 changes for you straight away, and it's easy to see, I think.
Just a quick aside.
Just to give the side a better balance, you start from the back, mate.
Quick sidebar, Dave. You'd be bringing Bart into the one place where he did have a massive cock up last season as well, aren't you? Do you remember he threw the corner over the line for when Mick had Selina and Waghorn lined up to make a substitution at 2? Yeah. Joe, is there a greater significance to Chris Hogg being in the dugout yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, I had been told by someone in the academy that he's been promoted to a first-team coach now. I don't know who by, but he is now a first-team coach, not the under-23s at the moment.
Okay.
Dave, Joe, we won't say this. We won't go into detail. You were coming out with some nuggets on WhatsApp yesterday, mate.
Oh, stop there. There's legal. Stop. Right. This is Alex, who I believe is going to be over from Australia for the live show.
Yeah, great.
Is this the lowest the club has sunk in our history, Dave? When were we in the second tier last without an upward trajectory?
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably is, isn't it? Yeah, because we were on an upward trajectory late 50s when we got promoted. So yes, we certainly were. So I couldn't disagree with that. Couldn't disagree with that at all. Obviously, we were. Well, we say that we were 5 points adrift, weren't we, when McCarthy came in, though? Weren't we, Joe? 5 points, something like that.
So, yeah, I think we're in as bad a position as we were when Mick came in last time.
Hold this thought, because we have an excellent game called Two Little Ducks on this show, but don't start Googling now. This is Chris Denny.
Birmingham away.
Stop it! Stop! Oh dear, I'm going to rewrite the script. Edit. Write down the time. Go. Joe, this is Chris Denny. Do you think the lack of a change of system or personnel, and then admission from Paul Hurst after the game that it was our worst performance, shows that he does not know how to fix this mess?
Yeah, I think his comments after the game were very telling. He spoke about, someone asked him whether there would be a director of football or an experienced manager brought in, and he was saying if there's a experienced manager and the players stop making mistakes, that's probably just a coincidence. He was saying the players, I've taken my responsibility, but the players need to take their share of responsibilities. There was, what other comments were that I picked up on? But basically, he's just sort of saying that he doesn't know how to turn this around, and I think he overtalks in these situations rather than just stand
up. I agree, yeah. Stand
up and front up. He sort of talks and ends up saying things which, like I said, I put a couple on my phone, where he just makes it sound like he just doesn't know how to turn it around. And
too honest, yeah.
He thinks the players are letting him down, but ultimately the buck stops with him.
Dave, this is from Adrian. Is it time for Klug to rescue us? He didn't fancy it, did he?
No, he didn't. No. So, yeah, you can't force it on him, can you?
No. Joe, this is Chris. I was hoping someone was going to ask this. How are you getting on with Football Manager 19 beta? So, new Football Manager, is it out fully now?
No, I think it's out in a couple of weeks.
And how happy are you with your Ipswich stats?
Yeah, not too bad. Fairly happy. I haven't had too much criticism of it yet.
What has Toto Inciala got for passing? Don't
find out shortly. But,
minus.
But this is probably one of my only issues with it, is that both John Nolan and Toto Enciala have been sent over to me by the Shrewsbury researcher, very highly rated. I think John Nolan has come across as our best outfield player from his spell in League One this year. This is how highly he was rated there. I gave him a little sort of chop, but I think there's going to be a big chop coming at the next update.
Chop.
Give him the chop. Hey.
Vasectomy.
So yeah, look forward to all your Football Manager 19 stories when that does drop, and let us know whether you're a FIFA guy or a Football Manager guy. Dave,
yeah, my Sabutio's still going well.
Dave, this is Ben Frost. To get us, it's a two-parter, and I can't see the first part.
Oh.
Sorry, Ben, I can't find it. This is Wazza then, Dave, who's got Kevin Beattie as his profile picture. Gents, one, does Evans really care if we go into League One? I'll plug that in a bit, Dave. If he does discuss the realistic shortlist, we've kind of already done that. So take the first one. Does Evans really care if we go into League One?
Of course he cares, doesn't he? Surely he cares. Yeah. Why would he not care? You know, we're not going to get. If we're going, let's face it, we're going to League One. I don't know, Joe. How many season tickets did we sell this year?
We're about 9, aren't we?
Jesus, 9. Well, that's going to be 6, 7.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to care. Financially, surely it's going to hurt him, isn't it? If he's still owning the club, well, of course Christ, who's going to buy it now?
And none of those academy players are going to hang around to get in the first team in League One, are they?
Well, this is the worrying thing because you hear people around me yesterday saying, "Oh, we'll be a good team in League One with all these youngsters," and I say, "Well, will we? Because I'm not sure they'll be here."
Dazell's not going to go and play League One, is he?
No.
Brad asked a similar Evans question. This is the Park the Bus pod. I must check that out. Is it worrying how our young players are far more comfortable on the ball than our senior players, Joe?
I don't think it's the senior players that are that uncomfortable on the ball. It's just that they play in such a style that we just, like I say, once they get into the final third, we don't really have senior players there. Almost, they're all the League One players that have come up, and the likes of Chambers. But we haven't seen a centre back come in from the academy and look comfortable on the ball, properly comfortable on the ball. Wolfenden looks okay, but he's not actually been there when the heat is on, and he's got players bombing down on him and no one's moving for him.
Surely Ben's got to break into Glenn Fry at that point. I mean, I can't believe you haven't.
The heat is on.
Yeah, there you go.
On the street. Nice.
Yeah.
Muted trumpet you went for there, Dave.
Yeah, a bit muted. Yeah, that thing. What do they call that thing on the end of the trumpet? What do they call it? A muffler. Is that a muffler?
It probably is, Dave.
I hope so.
I'm a humble piano player.
Yeah,
Dave, this is Kevy T. As horrible it sounds, does there needs to be a change of leadership on the pitch? Chambers talks the talk, pumps the people up, and undeniably puts the effort in. But do we need a leader who can influence the players on the pitch, providing better quality?
Yes. But of the squad we've got now, who would you foresee doing that? You know, I don't think there's anyone else in the squad really that we've got who would fulfil that role at the moment. Maybe here we go. Don't shoot me down. Maybe a fully fit and flying Emir Hughes. Okay, all right. But yeah, I don't see anyone with that quality in the squad. And you're right. You know, as a captain, I don't think you can knock Chambers for his passion and leadership. Just haven't seen many fist pumps lately, have we?
Emir Hughes playing alongside Lord Lucan in centre midfield.
I think if you would
don't say that. Lord Lucan's got to have an Achilles operation, hasn't he?
He's got a cracking left foot.
Yeah. But I think if we were to drop Chambers, that would be Paul Hurst's resignation letter.
Road in the Portman Road on Shergar. Sorry.
Joe, when we were in the pub in Birmingham, I think it was Mark said if he drops Chambers, that'll be like when Ruud Gullit dropped Alan Shearer before Sunderland Newcastle. It's just basically a resignation letter, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It wouldn't surprise me after everything else that's happened.
Having said that, it might have the desired effect because didn't his first game under Robson, didn't he score 5 goals?
Against Sheffield Wednesday the following week. Yes, he did, yeah.
Which means Chambers might chip in with 5 away at Millwall. Anyway.
Dave, you always pick me up on this. Alan Shearer was very good at football. In fact, I'd go as far as to say he was excellent.
Why do I always pick you up on it? I disagree with that.
He's better than Chambers.
Oh, so sorry, sir. Yeah, I'll give you that. 260 goals. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He always prattles on Twitter about 8 that were disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed or something, doesn't he, Shearer?
There's a goal scorer for you, mate. He scored 260. Just be happy. Just be happy with that. You're prolific. We know.
Lovely stuff. This is Tim, who we might be seeing at Reading. Dave, are you going to throw your toys out of the pram and not come to Reading now? Are you still going to come?
Yeah, I got me tickets yesterday.
Oh, he's got his tickets. Excellent. David Diamond will be at Reading, everybody. I can announce that exclusively on the internet now.
Okay.
This is Tim. Can't find the question thread today, but you're on the question thread, Tim. Maybe you copied and pasted that from not finding it. Which department needs improving the most? Defence, midfield, forwards, or tactics? That should fill the pod time slot. It's all of it, Joe. It's all of it. None of it works together, does it?
Well, you've got, like I say, you've got the defence, which is totally imbalanced of where the players are. You've got the midfield, where I still don't think Scouse and Chalobah as a partnership works because they both sit too deep and play in each other's spaces.
Similar.
You've then got the wide players that don't support the striker enough. People talk about Nolan or Dazelle playing as number 10, but look at Easy if you want to see what number 10 plays like. Right. They actually get up the pitch. They get up the pitch and play high. And the strikers, I say it's more of a 4-5-0-0-0-0-0-1 as opposed to a 4-5-1, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
The gap between the midfield and the strikers.
He's only about 18, 19, isn't he? What a player he is.
Yeah. Really good. I was impressed with him.
Liked him a lot.
Interesting. Should we just move on? I got a load of other. There's literally a million after yesterday. We understand. Thank you everybody for.
It was a shocker. It was a shocker
for putting the question.
I'm still shaking my head at 2 home wins in 2018. That is.
But Dave, does that not prove that there was already a problem there, and maybe the previous manager, in his nuanced way that he did it, was keeping the wolf from the door? And
I think you're right, because I mean, under the previous manager, didn't we? Was it after we scored against Leeds? Did we not go, Joe, something like 5 home games without a goal? Was it? That was right, wasn't it?
That was 5.
Yeah, the seed was sown, wasn't it? It was sown already. Yeah.
That 5 home games without a goal was a club record. We're now at 3.
Oh, so we might achieve something this season.
Well, we are.
Right, bit of a technical hitch. We're back though. I think Dave might have been cheating ahead of 2 Little Ducks though, because we still don't seem to have him. Yeah, he's doing something on his phone, Joe. But yes, let's move on now.
Cheating?
You don't need to, do you, Dave? Mind like yours, hey?
Go on.
No need. Let's go to the roundup then, boys. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Borough 2. Borough start 4th. Everybody loses. Adam Reach smashes another one in. Joe, could Borough be not really that good for most of the season and win the championship?
Yeah, because they've got Tony Pulis in charge, haven't they? And like the previous manager here, he'll squeeze points out of where you're not supposed to get them and take the 1 point when you need it and just move on. But with a much more expensively assembled squad, with much better players, you're going to get the wins when you need them.
Dave, Derby 2, Sheffield United 1. All of a sudden, Derby are in 5th. The Blades off the top. Do I have to take Derby seriously now?
Yeah, you probably do. It's a good team, aren't they? Great little players. You know, Wilson, Mount. Great goal, great winner from Marriott, who also
looked good in slow-mo, didn't it?
Yeah, lovely. A bit of a shinner. I thought he might have flicked a little bit of a shinner, but great finish. He also got an assist for that Bryson goal, the first one, which is like was 19 seconds or something, wasn't it?
And no one from the Blades touched the ball either. That was excellent.
No.
Right from the kick-off. Love that. Joe, Wigan 1, West Brom 0. Someone's actually shut out Barnes, Gale and Rodriguez, which means I have to shut up about them. Wigan have the best home record in the whole division. They have 17 points. Is Wigan away going to become hard, and are West Brom going to come back later in the week?
I think West Brom will be back. Like I say, I don't particularly rate Darren Moore as a manager. I think he did well with them last year, but when you see the players they've got, that team should be walking the league this year, really. But Wigan, they just carried on where they left off last year. I think they only conceded something like about 20 goals last season. They're solid. They're solid at the back, and they've got players that can nick goals. They've got some quality up front.
Dave, Blackburn 2, Leeds 1. Blackburn took all those Leeds supporters' money and they took the 3 points as well. A couple of goals from corners. But Dave, Roof was back and he started, and Hernandez was back on the bench.
Ominous, Ben. Yeah.
But they're not informed, Dave.
Graham scored
2 wins in 9.
Early goal. So that again, Ben?
2 wins in 9, Leeds.
Yeah, no, their form's not great at all.
Those 2
Graham
wins.
Scored again, didn't he?
were against Hull and Preston. So Leeds are good at beating bad teams.
So what you're saying is 3 and 10.
Your words, not mine. Your words, not mine, Joe Fairs. At Joe Fairs, everybody on Twitter. Thomas Frank, first game for Brentford. He messed it up, Joe. Brentford 0, Bristol City 1. Right. Lee Johnson went no wins in 4. Then he won 4 on the trot. Then no wins in 5. He's just beaten Brentford. Next 4 games, Hull, Stoke, Reading, Preston. They'll win all of them, won't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you who I've been impressed with at Bristol City. Is that young, he sort of can play left back and centre back, Lloyd Kelly.
Oh, you love him, Dave, don't you?
We picked him, didn't we? We picked him last season.
He plays centre-half
really
as well,
good player.
Brian was injured, wasn't he?
I saw him play centre half for England under 20s last week when Andre Dezelle played, and he looks a real player as well.
It was him. His delivery for the winner last year, wasn't it?
Literally the only entertaining thing about that game, that bloke, wasn't he?
The Only Fools and Horses block of flats.
And Statman chanting for Aaron Drinan for the entire second half, yeah?
Oh, he was. Aaron Dry, he got a bit excited when he saw him warm up, but it's not to be. And then old tricky Justin tweeted that if you actually look to your left, that's the actual block of flats they use for Nelson Mandela House.
Lovely stuff.
Aaron Drinan scored at the weekend, his first goal for Sutton.
It's a perfect segue. It's not even on the script. I love it. I saw the on Twitter the other day. I saw the trigger. He's talking to Rodney, and
Dave.
They said, he calls him Dave Standard, and he says, "Oh, Del Boy said he'd give me a lift to the pub," and then Rodney says, "Yeah, but Trigger, you live closer to the pub than we do. Didn't you have to walk past the pub?" "Yeah, but Del Boy said he'd give me a lift to the pub." Brilliant. I laughed heartily. Classic stuff. Trigger's new broom is actually like in the canon of English language as a saying now as well, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
In the Gary Derby, Stoke 0, Birmingham 1. Whose go is it? Who am I addressing here?
Might be me. What was the game again?
Stoke 0, Birmingham 1 in the Gary Derby. Birmingham are good. They've got 2 points per game the last 6 games. They've only lost twice.
Yep.
First 11 are good. I'm quite high on Birmingham, even if they get 15
doing
points.
Very
they
well,
won't go down.
Doing very well. Because Stoke had picked up a bit. I think they'd won 2 or 3 on the bounce, hadn't they? Fairly didn't. Rowett got sent off though. Some big shouts. I don't know if you saw the highlights of that game. Yeah. Sent to the stand. They had some pretty big shouts for handball after. Because I think Adams scored in about the 81st minute, so it was a bit. All hands on deck for Birmingham, but they sort of kept it out, I think. But there was some couple of good shouts for handball, and he took umbrage with it, I think.
Dave, if I was a ref and I was going to send Gary Rowett off, I would say, right, I'm either going to send you off, or you got to take the Converse off and your jumper and your thing. Either wear a tracksuit or a suit. What are you doing? Come on now.
Yeah, what sort of combo is that? He's not sure, is he? He's not, is that smart casual? Is that business casual?
And while I was there, Dave, I'd say, and bloody hell, play less boring football for 30 quid a ticket. Jesus Christ. Right.
Yeah, but he's got Crouchy up front.
Does he play him?
I think so.
Crouchy's very entertaining if you see him on TV and stuff. He's definitely going to...
Crouchy's got
he's definitely going to have...
I think he came on...
His new podcast is good.
Yes, is it?
I haven't looked at that yet. Yeah.
It's not better than ours, is it?
No, but...
It may have a slightly bigger reach. Slightly bigger reach, yeah. Adam Reach. Rotherham 1, Bolton 1. Can you imagine watching that? Oh, my goodness. That might have been tough going. McGuinness misses a penalty. Volk smashes in a free kick, and it's looking like Rotherham are going to win 1-0 at home again from a set play, but Doige chucks one in 5 minutes from time. But Joe, Rotherham need to win those games. They don't score. They've got literally 0 points away from home.
Yeah, well, normally when they score at home, that's enough for the win. They seem to not concede any goals, but they're picking up points at home still. I know they should have got 3 there, but still, that's another point. It's one more point than a few other teams at the bottom got at the weekend.
Here's one for your stats guys, Dave. Millwall 26 shots, Reading 9 shots. Final score: Reading 3, Millwall 1. Reading's third choice goalkeeper plays an absolute blinder, and Millwall hit the post 8 times and can't defend. Will Millwall be this terrible on Saturday?
No, no, they probably won't. Well, let's face it. If they probably will be, but we'll make them look good. I mean, does that mean they're terrible? Right, their finishing perhaps isn't so good. But did you say 25 shots?
26 to 9. Not on target. Sorry, 26 shots.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, not on target.
They hit the post twice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a tough. If you look at the result we got there last season, I know we're perhaps talking about that. Look at the result we got there last season and the characters and the players that we had in that team. Can't see it.
So what you're saying, Dave, is you miss Jordan Spence?
Yeah, for his heading ability in the opposition penalty area. Yeah, absolutely.
Good answer.
And Martin Waghorn and David McGoldrick, of course.
Bersant Steeler and Joe Garner and Adam Webster.
Yeah.
Bartosz Białkowski, Jonas Knudsen.
Yeah.
Okay, Tristan Nydam, Luke Wolfenden. And I'm starting to look at these results now, and I'm going, oh God, Reading won, Rotherham got a point. Oh, Hull and Preston both got a point.
Get to the extrapolation, Ben. Go on, let's hear it.
Oh, I've got something different for that. But first, no, Joe's been waiting all night to do Hull 1, Preston 1, Dave. We can't deny him the chance to talk about Jared Bowen scoring yet again and Malt in the 92nd minute. It's probably quite a good result for us, isn't it, Joe?
I think it was.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 teams at the moment who are getting cut off, aren't there? 4 points behind the
point. Yeah.
place above, which Hull and Preston are both in. So the fact that neither of them won when they played each other is probably a good thing for us, even though it saw us fall to the bottom of the table.
I think you're right. The only part of the table that seems to be crystallising is the bottom, but I think you can swap Bolton for one of Millwall or Preston. I think they'll switch in there. And guys, QPR aren't going to finish down there, not with Steve McLaren. That's not not going to happen.
They'll be comfortable mid-table.
Comfortable mid-table.
Yeah.
We must have missed out Norwich. Have I done that on purpose?
Yeah.
So we just leave it. Dave, if Norwich beat bloody Villa and Brentford by the end of the week, that means they're good.
Yeah.
Get yourself organised for set pieces.
They got Villa at home, haven't they?
Villa at home, Brentford at home, yeah.
Brentford at home, 2 home games.
Yeah. Double header, Dave.
Double header.
Yeah, think of Haitley and McCoist when you think of double header.
They're doing okay, aren't they? Worryingly. Yeah. It's just annoying that Closer scored 2, didn't he?
But that's like Joe was saying, two set plays. I swear, and Neil Warnock will probably give you chapter and verse on this. If you can defend and attack set plays in the Championship and just not be crap, you'll finish 10th.
And if you can't,
can we talk through some of our set plays yesterday? The one with Ward.
Oh my God! No, can I give my missus bit of wisdom of the game, because she always says something really smart that I don't see from a layman's point of view. Ward and Dazelle. I don't know whether you're going to talk about the Dazelle and Skews one that was even worse. Ward and Dazelle did this free kick thing, and she said, Ben, after that it looked like a conversation where Ward said to Dazelle, "Can you take this?" Dazelle said, "No, I don't really want to." Ward took it and it was really bad, and then Ward said to Dazelle, "You should have took that." Is that where we are with the organisation?
I think we should resort to a couple of seasons ago. What was that game when Chambers just ran at the ball from about 30 yards and shanked it about 30 yards away? Oh shit!
We might as well get Larson Toure back taking.
He got a mention on Twitter the other day. Yeah,
best ever corner. Hit his standing foot. Best ever corner. That got at least 10 minutes. We couldn't speak for about 5 minutes on one pod that we covered that. Remember that one, Joe? North stand end took a corner.
Yeah, you standing foot. Didn't he?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
But in all seriousness, though, I said on the pod a few weeks back, we're getting corners and no one knows who's taking it. They're all looking at each other, and then someone jogs across to take it. It's still like that. We're 14 games into a season, and no one knows what they're doing. Like the Ward and Dazelle free kick that your partner said about. The Scouse and Dazelle free kick. That didn't make the penalty area,
Joe. It didn't make the penalty area.
The Scouse and Dazelle free kick made our penalty area.
Well, no, this is what the times that we have free kicks or set plays, and within 20 seconds the ball's on the edge of our box.
Do you know what the funniest thing about this, right, Joe? If you sit with Dave, right, and this happens in a game, there's nothing that makes Dave more pissed off than you have an attacking play and it ends up. So he'll be sitting there, the free kick would have gone in, and Dave will say something like, "We're going to see the chance from this, aren't we?" "Oh, you're kidding me. You're bloody joking me. Bloody ridiculous." Getting louder and louder and louder. And then the ball goes, "I told you. And then there'll be the last minute clearance. They'll be like, "That was," and I won't swear.
I'm not saying we want the Gareth Southgate love train or the Danny Cowley air raid siren that goes off when they get a set piece. But it's got to be better than what we do. There's got to be some thought behind it. Who's taking it? What areas we're aiming at? What runs we're making? It looks as though somebody they decide on the pitch who's going to take it. They jog over there and just loop it into the box and hope something happens.
Surely,
or they try something different.
Before the start of the game, the manager says, Grant Ward, whoever, Edwards, right, you're on corners, both sides, left side, right side, you're taking them. And then surely they've worked on set plays, and then there's a signal that bounce of the ball or whatever that goes with it. I just don't get it.
Dave, when you see the importance of them, though, in
this league,
and we talk about the Norwich game, 2 set plays and they've won. Blackburn against Leeds, 2 set plays and they've won. And you could see that Martin Waghorn, I bet he was taking hundreds of those per training session, wasn't he? Just practicing them over and over again, wasn't he?
Well, there's the thing. This is what I can't get my head around. I don't know even how many we had yesterday, but winning goal at Swansea, Ward corner, Chalobah header. So why weren't Ward on all corners yesterday? Why was he not taking all of them? Or was he? Or didn't we not have him? Okay, Dazelle took a couple. Dazelle took one, I remember, an outswinger.
Lancaster came on and took one.
Did he?
The 18-year-old came and took a corner and floated it over.
Wow.
It's a joke, isn't it?
Are you ready for your extrapolation?
Go on. It's going to be the worst extrapolation. Well, it is going to be. Go on, Ben, since we've been doing the podcast.
I've made it a little bit different here. It would be the worst one since we're doing the podcast, apart from when we don't win the first game and it's 0 points for the season, which... Has that happened? Have we lost? When did the last time we lose the first game?
I don't know. Go on, carry on. I can't remember. Go on.
We're quite good on the first game of the season, aren't we?
Well, yeah. Back in the day, we had a run of about 20 years where we didn't lose the first one. Not quite 20 years. We had a hell of a run.
Interesting. Ipswich are 24th in the league with 9 points from 13 games, currently scoring at an abysmal rate of 0.69 points per game. I, Dave, will not give you a projected total, but I will say that to get to 46, which is likely but not guaranteed to keep you safe, Ipswich need another 37 points from 33 remaining games. So Ipswich need to score to get to 46, which may or may not give you safety. They need 1.12 points per game. There was a couple of questions that I know I've missed out saying, when is it too late? Well, if that figure gets to 1.2, 1.3 points per game to get that's what you need to get 46 points, then you may as well. That's too late.
You need to aim at 50 points, really, don't you?
I think I looked it up, Joe, and it's for 8 of the last 10 seasons, it's like 46, and for the other 2, it's 55. It's ridiculous. But there was an outlier team in both of those. And actually, James asked a really good question. He said, Ben, you keep saying the points total is going to be high because there's no terrible team. Are we the terrible team? And it made me think, have you seen a film called Duff? Designated Ugly Fat Friend. It's like everyone goes out with their designated ugly fat friend. And the tagline of the film is, if you don't know who the Duff is, you're the Duff. So if you don't know who the terrible team is, hang on a minute. Maybe we are the Duff. Maybe we are the terrible team. Top minutes, Chambers, Knudsen, then Edwards. Top goals, Edwards, Chalobah, Jackson. Can't be bothered. Top assists, Sears, Ward, Edwards. Dave, I think you've already Googled all the answers for Two Little Ducks. I think you've got them.
No, I think I haven't. I wasn't.
Off screen there on your phone. I
haven't got any of them. No, honestly, haven't.
Two Little Ducks. In fact, Dave, this could go on This Week in ITFC History. Can we just have a quick plug for This Week in ITFC History?
This Week in ITFC History, me and Stat mulling over games of yore.
Games of yore. Dave,
sometimes out on a Wednesday, sometimes out on a Thursday. Always a bit sketchy, but it should be one this week. Not sure.
Very entertaining show.
Very entertaining. Yeah. As that Stat was very nasal last week, but I think he should be over it this week, bless him. He was suffering a bit.
Very nasal, like Cher.
Yeah.
It didn't affect the quality of his impressions, but
I keep saying "man of 1,000 voices." Most of them very similar.
Right. We're going back to the 23rd of October, 2012.
Oh no, that's not one I looked at.
When Ipswich lost 2-1 at home to Derby County in Paul Jewell's last game as Ipswich Town manager. And just for those of you who might be interested in drawing parallels, Joe, the record at that point, I assume this was the last time we were bottom of the league. No, we lost the next week against Sheffield Wednesday, didn't we? The record then was played 12, won 1, drawn 4, lost 7. 7 points after 12, and we're currently 9 after 13. So we would have been 10, 11. Game 11, we would have got to 12 points last time, and our game 11 is going to be Millwall on Saturday. So if we lose to Leeds and Millwall, we are worse start than that Paul Jewell team. Anyway, the point of this Two Little Ducks, Dave, is did we have any good players in that game? So we lost the game 2-1 to a very late goal. I'm going to give you some clues. Derby have 2 players that played for them yesterday in this team 6 years ago. There's one player here who played for both Ipswich and Derby. And there's a few classics.
I cannot remember that game, but what I do know that season, I went to the away game, which I remember quite clearly because it was the Carlos Edwards 90th minute part of the waves when he blasts, takes it from fullback and blasts it in. So
it was 2-1, and Derby scored a last minute winner. There's also a player that in this game that has scored against Ipswich this season. Maybe in a penalty shootout.
Maybe in a penalty shootout. Okay. All right.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Okay, I will say. I don't know what to say. Hang on. I only consider away game. I will say Carlos Edwards. I'm out.
No. You're in. Carlos Edwards 1.
Stephen Henderson
2.
Good shout, Joe. Bloody hell, mate. I'd say you might have been setting me up for this, but I will say Aaron Cresswell.
Aaron Cresswell 3. Excellent.
Danny Higginbotham.
Danny Higginbotham 4. I saw him the other day at the. Was he doing the Middlesbrough game? Does he work for Sky?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Well, I've got to say DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, scorer of Ipswich Town's goal.
Luke Chambers.
6.
What year are we looking at?
2012. You might be doing this on This Week in ITFC History.
I will throw in. I've got a golden goose on this. I'll say Tommy Smith.
Play your golden goose, Dave.
Golden goose, Tommy Smith.
Tommy Smith. Can we just mention a lot of love for Tommy Smith?
Inciting a riot
in the
awesome.
MLS or wherever he played.
Good lad,
no, Tommy Smith, unused substitute, Dave.
Okay.
Lee Martin.
Lee Martin was the rogue player who has scored against Ipswich Town this season from a penalty.
Derby player played yesterday. I've got to say.
Scored yesterday.
Craig Bryson.
There is another one as well.
Keogh.
Richard Keogh, Kamikaze Keogh. There's a player here who played for Derby who also played for Ipswich.
Connor Salmon.
Leap like a salmon. That's 10. I love that.
Geraint Endor.
Play your golden goose.
With my golden goose?
No, Endor did not play. Can I just say I've just spotted something. One of these other players scored at Portman Road for an away team in 2 seasons ago. That's not good, is it? In an FA Cup game.
In an FA Cup game 2 seasons ago. Sheffield United.
Lincoln.
Okay. Anyway, I can't remember.
In fact, scored both goals for Lincoln.
I can't remember who it was. Where are we? Derby.
I'll give you some clues, Dave. I'll give you some clues. You're not going to get the goalie. Playmaker you really like, plays in the Premier League now, and another centre midfielder you really like, had a horrible injury, plays for Sheffield United.
I can't. I've blank now. I'm trying to think. We should get more. This is not another midfield player I really like. I'm going to say this could blow it all, but I'm going to say Luke Hyam.
You have blown it all. Did you get anyone from any of those clues, Joe?
Will Hughes.
Will Hughes was the playmaker you really liked, Dave.
Paul Coots.
Paul Coots was the injured guy you really liked, Dave.
Andy Drury, was he playing?
Andy Drury, yes. Let's go through these anyway. So the Ipswich team was Henderson, Cresswell, Chambers, Higginbotham, Edwards, Martin. The one you didn't get was Richie Wellens.
He was going to be my next one.
Andy Drury, Nigel Rio Coker, DJ Campbell, and Dave, sing me that Paul McCartney song. Jet Ooh, 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 ooh.
Did he play?
Yeah.
Or bench?
No,
Yeah.
he played, yeah. I can't pronounce this goalkeeper. Legstins is the Derby keeper. Don't know who that is.
Adam.
Okay. Brayford, who I think plays for Burton.
Yeah, Brayford, yeah. Brayford.
Buxton, Keogh, James O'Connor, Craig Bryson, Paul Coots, Jacobs, Hughes, Theo Robinson, the Lincoln player.
That's it.
Yeah. And Connor Salmon.
Salmon.
Two little ducks float like a salmon. Needs to be policed by Harry from Bath. The two little ducks police.
Oh yeah, I didn't do me. Oh shit! I had it all set out. I forgot about that. Yeah, I meant to
Exactly,
do.
Dave. You need to take it more serious. But what we need to do is to take seriously the next two games. So we're going to leave. We're going to leave Millwall to Rich and Harry. Let's talk some Leeds, Joe.
Are the wheels coming off Bielsa's tractor?
Bielsa's bucket.
Yeah, no. Leeds, when I've seen them, they've looked really good. They really have the high press, sort of the one that we were told we were going to get. They actually seem to do a high press. I watched them in pre-season. I went away to Southend to watch them in pre-season, and they were
Did Luke
poor.
Hine play?
Luke Hine played, yeah. He hasn't played much since.
Did he injure anybody? No, sorry. I'll take that back. Nasty, sorry.
They were really poor, and then they started the season and were absolutely on fire. But like I say, what is it? 2 wins in 9 now. They seem to concede more goals than they were at the start of the season, and they seem to have dried up a bit. I don't know if that's because Roof was injured, because I said that Roof and Bamford were both injured,
and
weren't
Hernandez
they?
as well.
Hernandez, Tyler Roberts stood in and did okay, but ultimately you can't expect a 18, 19-year-old with limited experience to lead your line
And
in such a
7,000
demanding
instructions
system.
in his head, per game.
Yeah. I was listening to something about him yesterday where they were saying that the day before the game,
that was
they have
Harry,
60,
yeah.
Oh, was it Harry? Yeah, 60 defensive and 60 attacking instructions given to them before they kick off the day before the game.
Yeah, I think they're shapes as well. I think they're positional plays as well. So he literally must walk through all of them. But Dave,
we don't even decide who's taking corners
or free kicks. Yeah, just make that rock paper scissors, Jimmy Bullard style. Yeah. Dave, what's going to happen at Leeds?
We're going to lose heavily.
I don't want to see that.
I can't see any other. Mind you, I think I might have said that for Swansea though. Yeah, Leeds I think are a different proposition to Swansea. Yeah, we could get a hiding.
But firstly, we could have lost heavily to Swansea though, couldn't we?
Let's face it, we could have done. We got away with it. I mean, I think that papered over a lot of cracks. That
no one's considering the new manager bounce for Wednesday night.
Someone did tweet. Have you boys cleared your diaries for Monday afternoon?
I saw that, and you said half term, didn't you?
Half term. My diary is clear for the emergency.
Oh God, he's got to. Surely he's got to get Knudsen back at left back, and let's get some balance, at least some balance back into that back four. Hopefully Enciala is not playing, and he's got Chambers and Pennington. I'd quite like to see that, and Donatian.
I don't even care if Enciala is playing, as long as we've got Donatian at right back and Knudsen at left back. Yeah. If it's Enciala and Chambers, I'm happy with that. As opposed to, I'd rather Pennington, but just centre backs in the right place would be a start.
Yeah. I mean, at least I think the trouble is though, he's still when Enciala and Chambers is still playing on the wrong side, isn't he?
But he will do with Pennington as well.
In all seriousness, now this next run, we've had the first game of it, and we said it's a 5-game block until November the 10th, the Reading game. Dave, this is close to now being all over, isn't it? If it's a defeat at Leeds, a defeat at Millwall, and you go into the Preston game.
Oh, if it's a defeat at Leeds and a defeat at Millwall, and you're going to Preston
but that's likely,
game,
Dave.
More than likely, goodness sake, and you go into that Preston game, and they have, and they've picked up points also in the meantime. So as I think Preston will, and out of the two, I think maybe Preston are slightly better than Millwall once they get. I think they've had injuries, and I think they'll be good, and they'll be good enough to pull away anyway. But going into that Preston game, if we've lost two on the bounce, and Preston have picked up points, so they're on a bit of a high, on a bit of an up. This is dire, mate. We are in straits already. I think we really are.
Definitely, we're staring League One in the face at the moment.
Yeah,
we spoke about it a few weeks back. Up until the Norwich game, we could see what he's doing. Since then, we have been woeful.
No plan.
Like I say, we had a decent second half against Brentford, and then the following game. We didn't follow it up with anything. We went played Bolton, were awful. Like before that, the international break, we came out and played Harlem, were dreadful. Went into the international break again on the back of a win, and came out and were awful again. Like the Swansea win, it's a good win. I don't like to say it was lucky, but the amount of chances they missed, and we could easily have been 3-0 down before Sears scored that before there was the own goal or Edwards' goal first. And where would we be now? Would Hurst have gone over the break? Like I said, I don't like to say it's luck, because I think we probably lost the game at the start of the season we should have won. So it does even itself out. But ultimately, I think I saw a stat, the last 4 games, we've conceded 68 shots and we've had 27.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, could be a bit of a shooting gallery on Wednesday. Anyway, Benny, you seeing anyone on Tuesday?
Yes, I'm seeing Sheffield United versus Stoke, and possibly meeting up with someone you know, Dave, and I'll tell you off air, because if that comes off, that's a good podcast. But that's not quite confirmed yet. Then Leeds on Wednesday night, so looking forward to that. Just want to say this is episode 135, and we do apologise if this has been a bit. I don't want to say negative, because I think we are just saying what we've seen. Yeah,
I think we try and be realist, because we try and talk it up a bit, but we're just being realistic, aren't we? Let's face it. It's something's got to
certainly
give.
The worst it's been since we started the podcast, isn't it, Dave?
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily. Well, we always had something to hang on to, didn't we, since we started the pod? Remember the first season of the pod? Ryan Fraser.
Yeah. We were top of the league after the end of August. The first season.
I think one of the first pods we did, he scored that beautiful goal against Preston away. One of the first pods we did, the little floater in the top corner.
Oh, the Pittman to Fraser.
Oh, Pittman. What we'd do for him in the team now, as well as he was.
Aren't Pompey top of the league in?
They're romping it.
League.
Romping it. I think. Well, what stood out for me a bit yesterday was we haven't got a player that can do that. Hemed yesterday, when they were under a little pressure, they always had an out ball, and Hemed was strong enough and cute enough to get his body in and get his arse in the way and bring it down and bring players into the play. We just haven't got that. I haven't got that at all.
Well,
and a bit unfortunate, because perhaps Walters, had he stayed fit, could do that to a degree, but we just haven't got that anymore.
It is a concern now that our 4th choice striker from last season, who was deemed not good enough, doesn't score goals, is now our main man, and who we're reliant on.
Yeah.
On that note, let's do the outro. So you can catch the pod every week on Acast and iTunes. We have 3 shows per week. This is the flagship show, where you'll see Dave and I most week, and Joe or Mikey or Statman or Richard, one of the other teams. Dave will be here with Statman every midweek, with this week in ITFC history. Unrivaled knowledge. I think Dave has proven that with the Kevin Beattie show.
I was going to give that a plug, but I think it's all sold out now.
Oh, what's that, Dave?
Burnstyle Blue. So there's some great anecdotes in here about Kevin Beattie. I rambled, basically. I think Steve doesn't know. Steve Skeet edits it. I think Steve had to trim mine a bit. I was just rambling, but a really good story from Graham from GB from the Naked Footy Show. And if you haven't read it, a bloody excellent story from Julian Hughes, who who tells a story that he had to do community service back in the early 80s, and he bumped his community service. Part of it was sweeping out the stadium at Portman Road, and he bumped into Kevin Beattie. It's a brilliant story. Oh, there's the phone. It's all gone off now.
Yes. So this week in ITFC,
I'm gonna take this call. Go.
This week in ITFC is with Dave on Wednesdays. The Imperious Rich and Harry with the preview show, and I'll be here with match reviews after the games. Now, Joe, we need to wish you luck, because you're not going to be on the podcast for the next couple of months or so. Am I right?
It shouldn't be that bad, but my wife is due next Tuesday, so any time now.
Nice one. What? Not this week.
Tuesday week.
So on behalf of...
I'm not able to go to Millwall.
You poor thing. On behalf of us, Joe, and all of the listeners, good luck with all of the baby stuff. And sorry sorry that your future child has been selfish enough to not allow you to go to the Den and see Ipswich, do whatever they're going to do at Millwall.
Win
Anyway,
4-3.
win 4-3. Oh God, I'd take that. Hey, no, I wouldn't. I'd probably have a heart attack during the game or something.
Probably.
Over and out. Say goodbye, Joe.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Dave.
Yeah, bye, Glenn. Cheers, guys.
See you.
Even better back to Stewart. Oh, he turns to defend sweetly. Round the goalkeeper. And scores a magnificent